And I don't even think this last one matters. It's not flour. It's not sweet. Vanilla? Vanilla. Okay. Let's save. So let's see. Gotta wait for us to see Natsuki. Just the regular stuff so far. The stuff we've seen at least 3 times now. I mean, I guess 2 of those times Sayori was dead. Yuri brought us something today. I guess this still happens. I say thank you. I take the book. Okay, I think this is when that starts to happen. So Yuri and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. So this should be... okay. Oh, this is Natsuki. I hear Natsuki utter an exasperated sigh from within the closet. She seems to be annoyed by something. I approach her in case she needs a hand. I say, you looking for something in there? She says, freaking Monica. She never puts my stuff back in the right spot. What's the point in keeping your collection organized if someone else is just gonna mess it up? I can't talk. Give me a second. There we go. Natsuki slides a bunch of stacked books and boxes across the shelf. Manga, I say. Natsuki says, you read manga, right? I say, sometimes. Manga is one of those things where you can't admit you're really into it until you figure out where the other person stands. I say, how did you know, anyway? She says, I heard you bring it up at some point. Besides, it's kind of written on your face. The words manga just all over my face. What's that supposed to mean? I say, I see. There's a lone volume of manga amidst a stack of various books on the side of one of the shelves. Curious, I pull it out of the stack. She says, there it is. Natsuki snatches it out of my hand. She then turns to a box of manga and slips the volume right into the middle of the rest. Ah, much better. Seeing a box set with one book missing is probably the most irritating sight in the world. I say, I know that feel. 'Cause that's the thing I would say. I get a closer look at the box she's admiring. Parfait Girls? It's a series I've never heard of in my life. That probably means it's either way out of my demographic or it's simply terrible. She says, if you're gonna judge, you can go you can go do it through the glass on that door. She points to the classroom door. I say, hey, I wasn't judging anything. I didn't even say anything. She says, it was the tone of your voice. But I'll tell you one thing, Snake. Consider this a lesson straight from the literature club. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's awful. In fact, Natsuki pulls out the first volume of Parfait Girls from the box. I'm going to show you exactly why. She shoves the book right into my hands. I stare at the cover. It features 4 girls in colorful attire striking animated feminine poses, just like this one. It's exceedingly moe. Natsuki says, don't just stand there. Natsuki grabs my arm and pulls me out of the closet. She then takes a seat against the wall beneath the windowsills. She pats the ground next to her, signaling for me to sit there. I say, wouldn't chairs be more comfortable? I take my seat. She says, chairs wouldn't work. We can't read at the same time like that. I say, eh? Yes, I'm Canadian, eh? Why is that? I guess it's easier to be close together like this. She gets alerted. She says, don't just say that. You'll make me feel weird about it. Natsuki crosses her arms and scooches an inch away from me. I say sorry. Didn't exactly expect to be sitting this close to her either. Not that I can say it's a particularly bad thing. I open the book. It's only a few seconds before Natsuki once again inches closer, reclaiming the additional space while she hopes I won't notice. I can feel her peering over my shoulder, much more eager to begin reading than I am. She says, wow, how long has it been since I read the beginning? Hmm, I ask. You don't go back and flip through the older volumes every now and then? She says, not really. Maybe sometimes after I've already finished the series. She says, hey, are you paying attention? I am, but nothing's really happened yet, so I can talk at the same time. Looks like it's about a bunch of friends in high school. Typical slice of life affair. I kinda grew out of these, since it's rare for the writing to be entertaining enough to make up for the lack of plot. Wow, this is self-referencing. So, I say, what should I expect from this? Is there going to be a plot? She says, well, obviously. You think I would enjoy something that didn't have a plot? I mean, well, I guess I know what you're saying. A lot of the beginning is about simple things. Like there's a really funny chapter where they're obsessed with the guy at the ice cream shop. But that just helps you get to know the characters. And besides, it's still entertaining. But later on, there's all kinds of drama. Like when they all get into their backstories, and when some of the romance starts to happen. That's really what makes it so good. There are also many touching parts. I say, ah, is that so? It sounds like you really know what you're talking about. Maybe I underestimated you. And parfait girls. She laughs. Hey, wait. What's that supposed to mean? Natsuki gives me a little shove. I say, I just meant that I haven't seen you at your full... Christ. She says, good save. I say, this chapter seems like it's about baking. This is just a guess, but there's a lot of baking in it. But is there a lot of baking in this manga? Manga? She says, well, Natsuki pauses for a moment as if she doesn't want to admit something. Yeah. Why does that matter? I say it doesn't, I was just curious. Since you enjoy baking too, right? She says that's just a coincidence. I just happened to get into baking around the same time I got into this manga. I got this manga. Like I would ever get into anything because it's in a manga. I feel bad for anyone that's that impressionable. She laughs. Definitely not a coincidence. I guess that explains Natsuki's interest in baking. Still, of all the hobbies to pick up from a manga, that's definitely one of the better ones. Not to mention she's really good at it, so who am I to judge? Whoa, that was weird. Shouldn't this transition happened a lot sooner? We read on for a few more minutes. Also, she looks really fucking young in this picture. I finished a couple of chapters at this point. I say, are you sure this isn't boring for you? She says it's not. I say, even though you're just watching me read? She says, well, I'm fine with that. What the buff Suki? Sorry is pretty strong, Zevran. I don't know. Anyway, I say, if you say so. I guess it's fun sharing something you like with someone else. I always get excited when I convince any of my friends to pick up a series I enjoy. You know what I mean? I ask. You don't. She says, that's not... Well, I wouldn't really know. I ask, what do you mean? Don't you share your manga with your friends? Do I keep saying manga? Because I really don't mean to. Manga. The word is manga. She asks, could he not rub it in? Jeez. I say, ah, sorry. She continues, like I could ever get my friends to read this. They just think manga is for kids. I can't even bring it up without them being all like, eh? You still haven't grown out of that yet? It makes me want to punch them in the face. I say, I know those kinds of people. Honestly, it takes a lot of effort to find friends who don't judge, much less friends who are also into it. I'm already kind of a loser, so I guess I gravitated toward the other losers over time. But it's probably harder for someone like you. She says, Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Wait, which part? She says, I mean, I feel like I can't even keep it in my own room. I don't even know what my dad would do if he found this. She has a father? What? At least it's safe here in the club room. Except Monica was kind of a jerk about it. No, Frosty, that says manager. You have to get the right... You have to get the right, like... Hey, Untrots. Untrots, do you know this game? Because there was a reason I said that. She says, I just can't win, can I? I say, well, it paid off at the end, didn't it? I mean, here I am reading it. She continues, well, it's not like that solves any of my problems. I say maybe. But at least you're enjoying yourself, right? Exactly, Frosty. Why is she the only one with parents? So, she asks. I laugh. Geez, that's enough, she says. Are you gonna keep reading or what? I say, yeah. I flip the page. Suddenly, Natsuki starts laughing. I totally forgot that happens. Natsuki puts her finger on one of the panels. Minori is my favorite character. You always feel a little bad for her since she's so unlucky. But it gets especially bad when... She interrupts herself. I shouldn't be talking about that yet. She's finished this chapter. Natsuki's voice sparkles with excitement. It's a stark contrast to her usual bossy tone. But if she's not used to sharing her favorite manga with her friends, I can understand why. It's hard to express in words the feeling you get when connecting with someone like that. And being able to provide that to Natsuki, for whom it's a rare experience. The thought makes me smile a little to myself. Monika says, okay, everyone. Eh? I ask. Monika says, are you all ready with today's poems? Natsuki says, oh, come on. Could your timing be any worse? Monika says, sorry. I just need to make sure we have enough time. Though you do look pretty cozy over there. Natsuki says, ah? And then she freaks out. She suddenly notices how close she's gotten to me. She hastily slides herself a good 12 inches away from me. Alright, I say. Guess I'll stop here for now. I close the book and hand it towards Natsuki. She says, you're just giving it back? Don't you want to know what happens? Don't you want to know what happens? I say, yeah, but... Monika just said... She says, don't be dumb. Just take it home with you. I say, is that really alright? I say that mostly because I didn't really plan on using my spare time to read this. She says, well, of course. It would take forever to finish if you didn't take it home. Just finish that one before tomorrow so we can start on the next one. And if it gets bent, I'll kill you. Say, by tomorrow? I only got partway through the volume so far. I might fall behind on some shows if I try to get through this. But I suppose that's a necessary sacrifice in exchange for seeing Natsuki's enthusiastic face. Or am I more scared of what will happen if I don't finish it? I say, alright then. I stand up. I return to where I put my stuff and carefully slip the book into my bag. Monika says, by the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? I say, yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration, since I've never really done this before. She says, well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? Sayori says, I can't wait. Sayori and Monika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf. On the other hand, Monika wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monika's pristine handwriting from where I sit. We've actually seen this part already. Okay. So, let me just glance at chat for a second. Oh god. Alright, I can safely ignore chat for a second. And I'll just glance at Discord real quick. Except it's not open, so that doesn't help. So, on Yuri's route, we always went with Yuri first. So on Natsuki's route, I'm gonna go with her first. And we could probably just skip the other people entirely. Like, skip right over them. I told Natsuki I was interested in her poems yesterday. It's probably only fair if I shared mine with her first. Natsuki says, okay, well let's start with the things I don't like. First of all... Natsuki rereads my poem. Never mind, I don't feel like giving you my opinion. Eh? Then what's the point of sharing in the first place, I ask? I wrote this when I could have been doing other things. In fact, I remember how I said I wanted to read your poems. That's what I had in mind when writing this. I want to help you feel comfortable enough to share yours. Like Monika said. Natsuki says, well, I would be more comfortable sharing my poem if yours was really bad. You were supposed to show me some dumb poem and make me go, ha, well, it's not that great, but let me show you what real literature looks like. And you went and ruined it. I hope you're happy. I say, so in other words, you're saying you liked it. Natsuki's retort gets caught in her throat. You're so, she says. You don't understand anything, do you? I already told you that. You don't have to go announcing it to the world like you're all self-important. I say, pretty sure you never actually said that. I say that mostly to myself. Natsuki must really hate me or something. I can't figure out if it's a win or a loss that she liked my poem. I say, in any case, you still need to show me yours, right? She says, fine, I guess. Only because Monica will make me if I don't. And we've seen this. She says, I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I say, I like it. She says, what? Just be honest. I say, I am. Why are you so convinced I wouldn't like it? Well, she says, because. We have seen this already. This is all normal. We're probably gonna see something different next time. Alright. We're gonna do a quick save. And their dialogue to us will be different, but otherwise it should be very similar after we read their poem. Sorry, he says this is a good poem. This is the same, actually. Right, so yours will be the same because we haven't changed anything with her. Yep. Yuri's should be different because we're no longer... She will no longer love it. Here says, Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Yuri says, oh, sorry. I forgot to start speaking. I say it's fine, don't force yourself. She says, I'm not. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Actually, let me... That's a good point. Well, see, the weird thing is, Everin, we've been through here already. Let's see if this will work. So this is new content, so this doesn't help. But she says, okay. This is your first time writing a poem, right? I say, yeah. Why do you ask? She says, I'm just making sure. I guess that it might be after reading through it. She says, I say, so it's that bad. She says, no. Did I just raise my voice? I'm so sorry. She buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice it's been several minutes and we really haven't gotten anywhere. It might take Yuri a while to get used to new people. I say, it's fine. I really didn't notice. What were you saying? She says, right. It's just that there were specific writing habits that I usually... Oh, no, this is... We've definitely seen this. This is just her telling me what to do. Even the stuff about Natsuki's the same. Yeah, I don't think that'll work because of the way we... No, just because of the way the game works. It's a very strange visual novel. Okay, we've seen all this. Monica. And Monica should be the same. Oh, no, this is new, actually. There's some new stuff there. Let me go back. The music just freaked out. Okay. I'll save again here. Monika's saying having a good time so far. I'm just trying to make sure I don't skip past the stuff that's new. Once we share our poem, it should change. Okay, she says, I like it, Snake. Really, I ask. She says, it's a lot cuter than I expected. She laughs. I say, oh geez. No, she says. It kind of makes me think of something Natsuki would write. And she's a good writer, too. So take that as a compliment. I say, if you say so. She says, yep. By any chance have you read anything by Shel Silverstein? I say, maybe a long time ago. She continues, he's famous for telling all kinds of stories in just a few simple words. His poems can be funny, endearing, or even sad. And sometimes they're only a few lines long. They might even feel like they're written for kids, but if you think about them, they can express views of the world that would apply to anybody. I see, I say. Got it. My character says that too much. So you're saying that Natsuki is kind of like that? She says, sort of. Maybe she's not an expert, but you probably won't find much filler in her poems. They might be easy to write, but they're super challenging to get the meaning through. So I can see why you're kind of home to explore. I say, I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. She says, that's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. She says, everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Or do I? Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Yep, here we go. And this is probably fine to skip through. Yep, Yuri and Natsuki are having their showdown. And I think I have to choose somebody, don't I? And we're gonna go with Natsuki. I say Yuri, really talented, but Natsuki has a point. I think that... I rack my brain and attempt to back myself up. I say, I think that conveying feelings with few words could be just as impressive as well. It lets the reader's imagination take over. And Natsuki's poem did a really good job with that. Natsuki says, yeah, it did, didn't it? She laughs. Shows how much you know. Yuri says, that's not... I say, Natsuki, I think that's enough. She says, huh? Me? But she was so mean to me. Natsuki's voice whines. I say, look, what we talked about yesterday was right. Writing is a really personal thing, and sharing it can definitely be hard. It looks like we learned that today. Even small criticism can lead to something pretty heated. I glance over my shoulder. Sayori is nodding vigorously. I say, yeah, so... You don't need to feel threatened. You're a great writer, Natsuki. Natsuki's voice gets caught in surprise. Thanks for noticing. She finally mutters that, barely audible. I say, Yuri. Yuri looks at me dejectedly. With a face like that, I can't help feel bad for her as well. I'm sure that Natsuki didn't mean everything she said. So you don't need to feel threatened either. Well, she says, if you say so. Hey, says Natsuki. It's not like you need to apologize for me, Snake. Sheesh. Natsuki takes a breath. The thing about... Natsuki glances around the room. Would everyone stop staring at me? Unsurprisingly, Natsuki has a harder time with it than she boasted. Sayori and Monika look away. She says. Anyway, the thing about your boobs, I didn't mean it, okay? That's all. Natsuki looks away, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Sayori says, yeah, you're naturally beautiful, Yuri. I say, Sayori. Yuri says, I'll go make some tea. Sayori says, I was just trying to help. I say, I'm sure she appreciated Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. Monika says, well, now that we're past that, everyone's read each other's poems, right? I hope that it was worthwhile for everyone. Especially you, Snake. And to be honest, it's a nice change of pace from lazing around we got a little too used to. Say, so my joining the club was responsible for ruining the atmosphere. She says, no, not at all, not at all. There's still time before we go home. So we'll all relax for a bit. Of course, besides chatting, we do literature-related things in the club room. So maybe you can take the chance to pick up a book or do some writing. After all, that's what the club is for. Sayori says, I disagree, Monika. She says, what? Or she says, about what? Sayori says, that's not the most important thing about the literature club. The most important thing is having fun. Monika just laughs, of course. Well, I guess that's why you're the vice president, Sayori. In the end, though, Monika's right. Being in the literature club probably means I can't spend all my time doing nothing. But in the end, I guess it's been worth it so far. Monika says, okay, everyone, it's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? And I think I could probably skip this too. And chat is just being silly. Yep, talking about Yuri. Here we go. Okay, so Natsuki lists clothing and simple things. Damn it. Damn it. Parfait. Of course parfait would work for her. Ribbon. Lollipop? Yeah, lollipop. Yep, strawberries work. Music? No, not music. Damn it, no laughter. Some of these are pretty hard. Pout? Yep. Jump. Heart. No, not heart. Blanket. Really? Blanket is... okay. Playground. Yeah, that's probably more for her. Another day passes. I've gotten a little more comfortable here. So he's talking to us about being in the club room. Oh, right. She's trying to get money out of us. Yuri's actually more involved in general than I thought she would be. I should do a safety save. Oh, right. Natsuki comes in and starts whipping cookies at everyone's fucking face. And so he chokes on it a little bit, and is sad, and then steals some of Natsuki's cookie. Oh. What did we miss here? Okay. It's not long before Natsuki comes up to me expectantly. I say, yeah, don't worry, I've kept my promise. I pull out the first volume of Parfait Girls out from my bag. Natsuki takes it from my hands, then quickly turns it over, presumably to check for wrinkles. I say, hey, I'm not that careless. I handle manga all the time, you know? She says, I just wanted to make sure. Can you blame me for being paranoid? I don't give people my manga every day, you know. I say, that's true. I don't blame you. Well, anyway, she says, let me put this one back. I'm gonna get the next one, okay? Natsuki makes her way to the closet. I follow. She says, so you gotta tell me everything you thought, right? Where did this volume leave off again? I forget. I say, the chapter ended when Minori and Alice found... Natsuki says, Monica. Natsuki's voice resonates out from inside the closet. I peer inside. All of Natsuki's books are lined up on the top shelf. She says, did you move my manga again? She says, sorry. The teacher got mad at me for taking up so much space in her closet, so I had to move some stuff around and clean up a little bit. It's all still there, I just had to organize it a bit. The top shelf is far above Natsuki's head. She makes a futile hop, trying to figure out how to reach her manga. Geez, she says. This is so inconvenient. I'm moving all these back down. There's plenty of room on these shelves. Besides, they're really pretty to look at when they're all lined up. Why would you waste that on the top shelf? I say, Natsuki. There's a stool on the wall there. In the closet, there's a collapsible stool that's hanging on the wall. If you want, I can reach up there and hand them to you. She says I can get them myself. Natsuki grabs the stool from the wall and unfolds it. She says, you think I'm too short or something? I say, I mean... She says, I knew it. Well, you know what? Just watch me. Natsuki hops on the stool, which ends up being a little wobbly because of its collapsible design. I say, careful. She says, I know what I'm doing. Standing on the stool, Natsuki's fingertips reach the top shelf. The stool would be enough for me to easily grab the books, but Natsuki is being stubborn as usual. Natsuki uses her fingers to scoop one of the smaller boxes to the edge of the shelf. See, she says. The box suddenly tips. Natsuki barely catches it before it falls to the floor. The stool wobbles. Losing her balance, Natsuki hops off the stool. Thankfully, she was able to stay on her feet. She holds the box triumphantly. I'm sorry, Antrots. It's not happening. Natsuki says there. Having almost fell, Natsuki is a bit shaken up. I say, geez. No need to prove yourself to me. There's no way you'll be able to get the bigger boxes like that. I can reach them, so just... She says, I said I can do it. If I do a playthrough after this one, 100% kawaii anime girl voices. Yeah. No. She says, I don't want your help, okay? I sigh. She continues, I'm gonna get a chair, so just hang on. She forces her way past me out of the closet. She says, let's see. The classroom chairs have the desks attached, so they're too inconvenient to fit into the closet. Aha, she says. Natsuki trots over to the teacher's desk, which has a computer chair behind it. She rolls it on its... Oh, God.